He never meant to kiss her, but that single kiss kept the billionaire heiress alive. Last night, a struggling single dad performed a rescue no one expected, a rescue that made him the only man on earth. The richest family suddenly needed. He thought it ended there, but the next morning, his phone rang, and the man calling him was her father, one of the most feared billionaires in the world. What he said next turned the single dad's ordinary life into a storm of danger, secrets, and a love story no one saw coming. Ethan Malick's world was built on exhaustion. From sunrise to long past midnight, he worked at a rundown mechanic shop to provide for his 8-year-old daughter. Lily every day felt like a fight against Bill's hunger and the fear of losing everything he loved. That night, he walked home with heavy steps, ready to collapse. But fate had prepared a different path for him, one he never saw coming. As he passed a quiet road lined with dim streetlights, a loud metallic crunch pierced the silence. He turned sharply. A black luxury car lay smashed against a tree, steam hissing from the hood. His heart froze. He sprinted toward it without thinking. Inside the driver's seat lay a young woman, beautiful but pale, gasping, struggling for air. Her lips were turning blue. Her throat was swelling. And on the seat beside her, Ethan spotted a broken epinephrine pen and chocolate spilled on the floor. She was having a severe allergic reaction. 1 minute, maybe less, and she would die. He dragged her out, laid her on the cold ground, checked her pulse, weak and fading, and then made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. He tilted her head, sealed his mouth over hers, and forced air into her collapsing lungs. He wasn't kissing her, he was fighting death itself. After the fourth desperate breath, she inhaled sharply and clutched his shirt with trembling fingers. He had saved her, but he didn't know that. Saving her meant stepping into a world far more dangerous than the night itself. Ethan left the scene as soon as the ambulance arrived. He didn't wait for questions or gratitude. He wasn't a hero, he was just a father trying to get home to Lily before she worried that the next morning. He made tea and turned on the small, flickering TV. What he saw nearly made him drop the cup. Billionaire heiress Aria Blackwood survives near fatal allergic accident, the reporter said. A mysterious man saved her life before disappearing. A picture flashed on screen, grainy CCTV footage of Ethan carrying Aria in his arms. His face wasn't clear, but it was unmistakably him. Ethan's breath caught. He hadn't just saved a woman. He had saved the only daughter of Adrian Blackwood, the ruthless, feared billionaire who controlled half the city's economy. Ethan froze at the thought. People like them lived in another universe Ethan didn't belong to. Meanwhile, in a private hospital suite, Aria Blackwood opened her eyes. Memories returned slowly. The crash, the allergic shock, and then his face, his steady hands, his determined eyes. The stranger will breathed life back into her when everything turned dark. Find him, she whispered to her father. Adrian Blackwood stood beside her. His expression was cold steel. No one saves my daughter and disappears, he growled. Within hours, private investigators were scanning footage, tracing witness statements, checking traffic cameras until one name surfaced. Ethan Malick, a mechanic, a single father. Anobody on paper, but the only man who had kept Aria alive. And Adrian Blackwood was not a man who let debts go unpaid. Ethan was repairing a motorcycle when his phone, an old, cracked device held together with tape, began to ring. Unknown number. He considered ignoring it, but something tugged at him. Hello? A voice deep as thunder answered. Is this Ethan Malick? Yes. Who's this? This is Adrian Blackwood. Ethan's knees almost buckled. He grabbed the workbench to steady himself. The billionaire continued. You saved my daughter's life last night. I want to speak with you immediately. Before Ethan could respond, a black limousine pulled up outside the garage like a shadow swallowing the sunlight. Two men in suits stepped out and opened the back door. Inside sat Aria, glowing, staring at him with eyes full of gratitude and quiet astonishment. Ethan hesitated, but she motioned gently. Please, sit. Across from her was Adrian Blackwood himself, awful, intimidating, his gaze as sharp as a blade. For a long moment, the billionaire said nothing. He simply studied Ethan, scanning him like an X-ray. Finally, he spoke 7 words that sent chills down Ethan's spine. I need you to stay close to her. Ethan blinked. I'm not sure I understand. You saved her once, Adrian said. You may have to save her again. Aria's fingers trembled slightly. Ethan, someone tried to kill me. The air froze. Adrian leaned forward. And the man who saved her life is the only one she trusts. Which means you, Ethan Malick, are now part of this, whether he wanted to be or not. His life had already changed. The limousine drove them to the Blackwood penthouse, a towering glass fortress overlooking the entire city. Ethan felt like he had stepped into a different world. A world where floors gleamed like mirrors and security was tighter than a prison. Inside Adrian's private office, the truth unfolded. Aria had not crashed by accident. Someone had tampered with her food, knowing her allergies, and then sabotaged her brakes. It was a planned attack, cold, calculated, meant to kill her silently. Ethan felt the room spin. He couldn't imagine who would want to harm someone like her. Adrian's voice was icy. My security team failed. Someone inside our circle is responsible. Until I find them, Aria needs protection. I'm not a trained guard, Ethan insisted. That's exactly why you're perfect, Adrian replied. The enemy expects bodyguards. They don't expect a mechanic. Arya stepped closer to Ethan, her eyes soft but urgent. I was dying, and you didn't hesitate. I don't feel safe with anyone else. Those words hit him harder than any strike. Ethan thought of Lily, their unpaid bills, the eviction notice, the struggle he lived every day. This job could give his daughter a future he never dreamed of. But the danger was real. Your pay will be more than enough, Adrian added. A home, security, education for your daughter, everything you need. The offer was life-changing, the risk was deadly. But when Arya whispered, "Let me trust you again," Ethan made his decision. "I'll protect her," he said, and sealed his fate. From that day forward, Ethan became Arya's silent guardian. He learned her routines, her meetings, her habits. He walked beside her in crowded places, checked her food personally, that scanned every room she entered. But as days turned into weeks, something deeper began to form, something neither of them expected. Arya wasn't the cold, privileged heiress the world believed she was. She was kind, lonely, and burdened by a life where every friendship was fake and every smile was calculated. Around Ethan, she was real. She laughed. She teased him. She even bonded with little Lily, who adored her instantly. Ethan tried to stay professional, but Arya's presence stirred emotions he had buried long ago: warmth, hope, the feeling of being seen. Still, he reminded himself, she's a billionaire heiress. I'm just a struggling single dad. We don't belong in the same world. But the heart rarely listens to reason. One night, after a tense board meeting, they stood on the rooftop of the Blackwood Tower. The wind was cool, the city lights glowing beneath them like scattered stars. "Do you ever think about that night?" Arya whispered. "More than I want to," Ethan admitted. "It changed everything," she said, stepping closer. "For me, and for you," he swallowed hard. "Arya, we can't," she gently touched his hand. "Maybe fate doesn't care about rules. Maybe it brought you to me for more than one reason." Their eyes locked. The world fell silent, and Ethan realized saving her life was only the beginning. Their hearts were now in danger just as much as their lives.